Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Roundtable. My name is Ben Hedges, and I'm here in the studio with Holly Kellum. Welcome, Holly.
Good to be here, Ben.
So we have an interesting story for you today. So thousands of pages, or a couple of thousand of pages. Do you remember pages? It's like before cell phones.
Yes,
we had pages.
my dad had one.
Your dad had one. Okay, well, Hezbollah, the terror group in Lebanon and Syria, they use pages instead of cell phones because they think it's more secure, or they think that cell phones can't be tracked, something like that. Mm-hmm. So they use these pages, and thousands of pages yesterday exploded. Mm-hmm. Okay, they believe they were hacked or they were compromised in some way. But then today we have a similar incident in which a load of walkie talkies used by the group randomly exploded as well, with one even exploding at the funeral of a Hezbollah member who was killed by an exploding pager yesterday. Now, we're going to show you, we'll actually show you the footage of some of these pages exploding. And obviously, we can't really make light of it because 2,800 people have been injured and 12 people have been killed. And there's also 200 further people in critical condition because of this. So, innocent civilians have been injured alongside these militant group members as well.
So, sorry, were the pagers only carried by soldiers or Hezbollah members?
Well, they believe that they were mostly carried by Hezbollah members, yes, because they were pagers which had been ordered by Hezbollah. Mm-hmm. We'll get into that actually in a moment, exactly where the pages came from and stuff. But survivors reported hearing the pages beep and then display a series of numbers on their screens for about 5 seconds before they exploded. So let's actually get into showing you guys some footage of what it actually looks like. So yeah, that guy who was just looking through some vegetables, something in his pocket explodes and he's
over
on the floor. He's still moving. And we have another guy buying some stuff in a supermarket, and there you go.
It's a real explosion.
It's quite a sizable explosion.
Wow. And especially you think about that being on your hip, that's must be impactful.
So apparently some people who they didn't realize that the pager was beeping. They got injuries in the legs, like in the pockets and stuff. And then people who did hear it beep and then they took it out of their pocket and they looked at it, they got their hands blown off, or they got their eyes and their face injured and things like that.
Wow.
So Hezbollah apparently told the Associated Press that these pages were brand new. They were part of a brand new batch of pages, about 5,000 pages that they'd apparently bought. And these pages, the design comes from a Taiwanese firm called Gold Apollo. However, they said in a statement that they had actually licensed the design of their AR924 pager to another company called BAC Consulting, and that company is based in Hungary, in the capital of Hungary. And the Taiwanese firm wasn't involved in the production, so they licensed it out to this other firm that then produced a batch of these and sent them to Hezbollah. So somewhere along this production line or this supply line, it's been infiltrated by someone. I think we all know who probably that is, although we don't have any confirmation of who it is.
I was going to say, I think we all know. But what is Hezbollah saying, and what is the Lebanese government saying?
Well, obviously they're saying it's Israel, right? I mean, Israel's intelligence agency, Mossad, they have not confirmed or denied that it is them.
So maybe just to back up and give some context, so Hezbollah has been fighting with Israel since basically the October 7th attack. So Hezbollah is aligned with Iran, which is also aligned with
Gaza.
with Hamas
Hamas.
with Hamas. So there is kind of a Middle East war going on,
right.
And I think the U.S. We are in the U.S. I know the U.S. is very concerned that this is going to start World War III and pull in other countries. So this is kind of a significant escalation.
So the U.S. did know about this, and apparently, this is according to Axios, an unnamed official told Axios that this was a plan prepared, an unnamed U.S. official told Axios that this was a plan that had been prepared for a all-out offensive against Hezbollah, but they were afraid that Israel feared that it had been discovered so they carried it out early. So presumably it was supposed to coincide with some other forms of attack, like air raids or troops going in or something. But yeah, they thought apparently that it had been discovered, so they just triggered it early.
And now we have the Walkie Talkies. So what do you think? Do you think those were supposed to have gone off yesterday and they didn't for some reason, or do you think they wanted to wait?
Yeah, maybe they wanted to wait. I mean, maybe you could
assuming that they're from the same source.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that maybe that was part of the plan. Like they were originally using pages, and then they're like, "Oh, our pages are compromised, so let's throw out our pages and we'll just go on Walkie Talkies." And then the Walkie Talkies are compromised too. It's interesting as well because a lot of people have, been analyzing like how this was done, because it's a pretty incredible thing to do, to infiltrate such a large number of devices undetected. So there was a former British Army officer who was interviewed in some of the newspapers, and he said that looking at the blasts, like how large the blast was, it's not just the battery, it's probably a small explosive charge. About the size of an eraser on a pencil. You know those pencils that have an eraser on the end of them? About that kind of size. And then it would be rigged into the device to be detonated by certain signals sent to those devices.
Do you think that Israel intercepted the shipment, or do you think they worked with the Hungarian company to put them in?
I'm thinking maybe they probably worked with the Hungarian company. Maybe they were all in on it from the start. You know?
Wow.
But I mean, I'm no expert. I'm just some guy on the internet, who's seen too many James Bond movies.
This does have a very James Bond-esque quality to it.
It does, doesn't it? It does. Well, what do you guys think? Do you think Mossad did it, or do you think we did it? Do you think the US did it? I mean, who knows, right? Leave your comments below. All opinions welcome. And obviously, our hearts go out to any civilians who were impacted by this as well, because we have to remember that it wasn't just militants that were killed. There were civilians harmed by it too. So that is very sad indeed. Do subscribe to The Roundtable if you're new. And also subscribe to Holly's channel, which is called Newspeak. That's right, and we'll put the icon on screen now. See you next time.
Bye.